welcome everyone. Good to be here. I enjoy these times. There's always a time to be peaceful. That's been my prayer. Prayer to really be with the peace. Most important. Keep everything simple. And I think sometimes in life it seems like we need permission to be peaceful, and yet that's what's promised me all the time. And yeah, it's just about remembering that. Just about remembering that peace all the time, really. And so that's what I feel this opportunity that we have together is to remember that peace. Peace of mind, because it's not simple. It is, but we make it complicated. I make it complicated. So that's what this time's all about. And I'm not even in charge of that peace. I'm not in charge of any of it. But I can desire it. And so that feels like the prayer to set us up for this episode. Because again, I never know what I'm actually going to talk about. It's just spontaneous. This morning I did have the theme come to me, back to basics. And somehow it struck a chord with me. And then I'm sitting here as excited as what you are as to what that even means. So that's the beautiful thing. Learning to trust and take our hands off the wheel and just be guided along through this time together to settle in, to find something deep within ourselves. Because peace is no small gift. As we all know, we get so caught up in life, seeming life. And so really, these episodes for me are just reminders for myself. That's all they actually are. They're like my dialogues to myself, to keep me straight, to keep my mind in the right direction. So it's always just blessing me. So that's why it's always a blessing to be able to sit here and do this, and to be able to talk about something so precious, such as peace, peace of mind. And then really there are no words for that. And that's why we ask for the help with that today, in this very moment, in this very instant. Just to be here now. And it might be your evening, so you're just settling down into this. This is like a nice meditation time. Or it could be your morning, if you're in New Zealand or Australia or Southeast Asia. So good morning to you. And then this is a beautiful way to wake up into peace. It's a beautiful way to end your day, and it's a beautiful way to start your day. And I'm in the middle of my day, seemingly. So it's a beautiful thing to be in the middle of my day, peace. because that's actually the most important thing, and the most so far I've really got out of these episodes. Out of doing, now we're on number 18, I just can't believe where the time's gone. But what I get from it is somehow it's allowing me to be peaceful. It's okay. This is your time. This is a beautiful time. Yeah, I just want to strengthen this all the time. It's interesting actually, because it's something that was coming up for me. I've been praying, and what happened is that I could see, like, I'm looking for things that might be, for instance, food or whatever it is, and even in the just doing things to be fulfilled, seeking outside. And of course that's what this whole world is. It's all seeking outside. Everything we're doing really is seeking outside. And when I was looking at that, it's, because you don't feel complete. And I thought, God, look, there it is. That I'm already complete, but I don't feel complete. And so there's the next best thing than this moment that we share together is hopefully going to complete me. And so I feel like these times for myself and for you are to remember that wholeness and to remember that completion. Because when you really, really start to look at everything you're doing, I bet it's because you don't feel complete. You don't feel whole. So something's missing. And that's the trick, isn't it, of looking outwards. And that's why it's sometimes difficult to sit with the difficult feelings. It's easier to distract, to try and feel that completion, but that completion is fleeting. And so we want something that's everlasting, something that doesn't change. That's what ultimately we're all actually looking for, and that we've all actually found. And so I'm always looking for that completion, but I'm actually looking for it in the wrong places. When it's completely and utterly here. Just giving that permission to be able to rest together, truly, is an absolute blessing. Because we know this isn't about learning anything, because you already are it. That's the whole point. So, in effect, you're actually not going to get anything from this talk whatsoever. There's nothing to be gained from it, which is such a funny thing. But when you look at it, it's actually a really beautiful thing. There's nothing for me to gain from this either. Because I already am it. It's already happened. It's actually just reminded me yesterday. It was right before our movie session, and we watched Rocket Man. And what I was noticing is all of a sudden I had all of these exact thoughts coming up in my mind, and I just didn't feel 100%. And that's where it begins, isn't it? And those thoughts are, as we start to mind train and we start to watch our minds more, we start to see these things. So it's like, well, I'm not feeling supremely happy, which is the natural state. So that's always the barometer, isn't it? That's what's promised us. So, and I thought, I don't feel 100%. And then automatically you go to, what's wrong? There must be something wrong. So I'm stood there thinking, what's wrong? What's wrong with my mind? What's going on? Yeah, I just don't feel good. And of course then the thoughts go into doing. Yeah, maybe I didn't do something right. Maybe I didn't do something wrong. Maybe I've been doing things that weren't so uplifting for me. And so I start analysing. And so now I'm sort of like starting to get more and more thick into my ego thinking. By trying to figure out the problem of why. This is actually, I was making a cup of tea at the time, and I'm standing there thinking, now why aren't I happy? What is it that's happened today that has brought me seemingly down like that? And so now I've aligned with my ego, and I'm having a conversation in my head with myself, with my ego self. And it's like, oh good, I've got him here. I've got him on the hook. We're going to see if we find his problems. But we know we're not going to find these problems because I'm generating them. So now the ego's laughing because it's generating problems for me. And I'm sitting there. Sorry, I'm actually standing up still making the cup of tea. And I'm having these thoughts. And the thoughts, I can't even remember what they are now because it's sort of like left me, but it seems important to share. It was just getting darker and darker. It's like, yeah, I'm not happy. Yeah, maybe something needs to change. So it always goes out to the form. Have you noticed that? It's like something in the form straight away, and it's like, no, I have to look here. So I ended up going into the theatre room, and we were just about to start a meeting. I had about 7 minutes before the meeting, and I'd made my tea and I sat down. So I just thought to sit and meditate, and there were these sort of thoughts. We know these sort of crazy thoughts. And then I thought to myself, hold on a minute, I don't have to choose this. I am choosing this. I'm choosing to believe in these thoughts. I've just generated them in my own mind, and now I'm choosing to believe them. And I don't have to believe them. They're not even my real thoughts. And the instant I just literally moved myself away in one moment and thought, hold on a minute, this is not the spirit talking to me. This is not the truth talking to me. The whole thing just popped, and it just completely disappeared. And then I was just feeling this joy for no apparent reason, and I'm just sitting there with a smile on my face. And now that's all completely gone, and I'm just sitting there smiling for absolutely no reason. And I just thought, wow, this is just beautiful. This is it. This is just what I've got to be so vigilant, really, for my mind, for my peace of mind is the most important thing. My happiness is the most important thing. And that doesn't come from outside of me. And that was like a beautiful demonstration for me, that where I was seeking was somehow seeking outside of myself. And then it just popped when I realised that I am in control. That's the one thing that you can be in control of. You can control your thoughts, as he says. You can control who you line your mind up with. And that's what we're actually like strengthening in our minds, aren't we? So it's not actually I think this is like, for me, it's showing me that it's not actually a problem that I got caught into some ego trap. It's just the chance to remember that that is not who I am. And that's something actually that I use for myself if I feel like I'm judging myself or judging others or judging a situation. I sit back and say, said the Spirit, is this what the Spirit is saying to me? And then if you really look at it, 99% of your thoughts are actually gonna say no. No, that's not. That's your judgments. You're judging this situation, even when it appears to be that you might be right, in a seemingly non-harmful way. But it's like, have you really aligned your mind? Have you really taken the time to step back and be with the one that knows, to show you a greater awareness? Am I taking the time to really speak the truth? Or is it still coming from some want of a self-concept? I think that's why I even question this. I'm like, why am I even doing this? Because it has to be questioned. Because if it was to actually get anywhere or to be something in the world, then it's an absolute death trap. You know, even to teach something, it's like, well, there's nothing to be told. And that's what I have to remember. So that's why it's actually a beautiful, beautiful thing in everything that we're doing. It's just reflecting back to our minds what we believe. And so everything that we do is so, so important. And that's why I am always praying on these shows. Because it's like, okay, well, what is it actually for? And it's like, well, today it's for peace. And it's like, okay, that's a good goal. But if it's to get anything from the world, then it's going to be hell. If it's to make me feel better about myself. Because it's so easy to want to build the concept of the self. That's what the ego wants. So looking at all the pride. Because that's been one of the things that I've been really, really praying in. You know, am I really, really giving? Or is there an undercurrent of getting? And the getting is only because you feel, or I can say, what I'm seeing is the getting, I'm actually just seeing it now, because that was another one of my prayers, is getting is inferiority. That you feel inferior. That I feel inferior, and therefore I need to get something to make myself feel better. Unworthiness is underneath. And so if it's to do with getting something, then it's coming from a place that you're inferior. And that's actually the true statement to the ego, because the ego is actually inferior. It's never going to get any better. That's the thing. That's the joke. It's never going to get any better going down that road. It's fake superiority, fake inferiority. It's false. But yeah, it's then underneath all of that, then well, what is the answer? And for me, it's true giving. That's not even from a body. Yeah, it's not something that I can actually do. It's not what a self-concept can do. Can never ever give. But the truth can give. And that's what I want to side with. Yeah, I have to allow this body to be used to give. And just notice when it's coming out of guilt or fear. But to really want to give from my heart, not from a body heart, but the heart of Christ, if you want to call it that. From true perception. And what I see in that, what I've seen in that prayer this week is like the undercurrent of getting and not wanting to give, and seeing like holding back, something holding back. To really be open. To really do it from not getting something. So maybe that can be our prayer together. Maybe we can look at that over the next week and see in our giving, is there actually getting there? Is it coming from a genuine place? And we notice that through the reflections, don't we? That's how you'll notice it. And that's wonderful. So I think it's like, for me, what I try and do is I try to just be as normal, as expressive and as natural as I will be, even if I am projecting. Because I just I want to really see it for what it is, without feeling like I've got to make a concept of myself or try and be a certain way, because that's just doing it for others. So allowing myself to be angry or annoyed or upset and just seeing how I feel about it. Just to let it all up. So I'm not in this people pleasing. If I'm angry, if I'm annoyed, then just say it. And of course, if you're doing that with mind training partners around you, then it's super helpful, because then you can take it back. Because then you can see if there's guilt underneath it, and sometimes I do feel guilty. And I'm like, oh, interesting. But how can I see it if I'm trying to cover it up all the time? If I'm biting my lip and not actually expressing what was in my mind? And then I can actually see the projection. But I think it's important that you have people that you can actually do that with. Reflections that will support your healing. And not just doing that with anyone, because I got asked that message this week. And I don't think it is to do it with everyone. I've had many experiences with that where I've opened up. And no, that's not what was actually given. But that's great though, because then you get that reflection. So it's worth trying. Don't ever hold back. I think that's the most important thing. Don't ever hold back, because there are no others, and they're only actually going to show you what you believe in your mind. So it's always a gift. So I know people are normally frightened of this, but I let everyone know here. I said, "I'll just say what you think to me. I don't mind." And sometimes it hurts. I'm not going to deny that. I'm not completely over these things, but I find it helpful because it helps me see what I believe about myself. So maybe you can encourage your mind training partners to share their projections with you, maybe about yourself. Can be very, very insightful and very, very helpful, because I think we want to keep this face of, you want to be a good person, but that's just the same as being a bad person, because there are no good and there are no bad. And it just needs to be that everything in the mind just needs to be cleared. So whatever's there is whatever's there. And if you're lucky enough to have people that are going to be honest around you, then it's going to be really, really supportive to see that, because it's actually always, always a gift for you. And I think one way to actually look at that, which I'm wanting to deepen in, is that last night we watched the movie Rocket Man, and in that movie David shared with us, and it's very simple really, but he said, don't see yourself as a person, don't see yourself as a body, don't see other bodies as people outside of yourself. See everything as mind. See it all completely and utterly just as mind. And then it can become interesting. It's all your mind, reflecting back whatever needs to be reflected. Until eventually you see the sameness in everything. So that's what I'm focusing on, just purely seeing everything as mind. So right now you're actually talking to yourself. These words are from the past. They've already happened. They're already over. You've already heard them. They are coming directly from you. And however you take these words, however you react to it, is exactly what you need in this very moment. Whether you agree or disagree, it's all your mind. And you know, agreeing and disagreeing is just, it's just ego thinking. Because I think that's where it can actually, then you can really take back all of the projections when you just see it as mind. That you know that it's you. And it might be some self-hatred coming up from it. But as you know, if you've been tuning into these episodes, that's what we're encouraging. We're encouraging one another to see that. Our actual real task is just to be inspiration. And I love that. That's a really nice role to take on. And it can be inspiring actually to share your projections, because that can be extremely supportive. So don't hold back in sharing, because that can be really, really inspiring. To share from your heart, I think, is the most inspiring thing. Because what I've noticed is the more and more I talk about these things, the more and more I share, I want to see my self-hatred. I want to see unworthiness. I want to see inferiority. If it's lurking down there, the more and more it just becomes actually enjoyable. And even though it can be uncomfortable, it just feels actually, okay, good. If I'm allowing everything, I think that's it. It's like there are doors that I have chosen to lock within myself. And I want to allow all of the doors to open, no matter what they are. And I want to see them, and I want to face them, and I want to feel them and experience them and hand them over. And so I don't know what that is going to look like. And I don't need to know what that's going to look like. Because that's what's stopping me from everything. I want to see the things that are stopping me from being everything. And this morning when I woke up and I heard back to basics, I thought, okay, well, I don't know what that means. And so I ended up undoing the course, and I've been reading the Beyond All Idols section, chapter 30. And in there, it basically shares the basics are everything. The absolute basics are that you are everything. And that you are choosing not to be everything. And I thought, wow, there you go. That's humbling. You know, because if I think that I've got anywhere on this journey, I have got anywhere on this journey, then I'm completely and utterly mistaken. You know, the Course in Miracles is a beginning and not an end. It hasn't even begun yet. And it's like, wow, how humbling is that? I found that very comforting in helping with the I don't know. The beginning is everything. That's what he's actually teaching in the Course in Miracles. He's actually teaching that once you get to everything, you're just beginning. That's the beginning. And this is just nothing. This is not even, you haven't even begun yet. So I think that's the real humbling, isn't it? It's like when we get the course, it's like I want to learn it. And even I thought I thought, okay, I can teach A Course in Miracles now. And then that quickly, yeah, what are you going to teach? Oh, that's another concept. Yeah, that's another thing. Oh God, yeah, nearly fell for that one. Yeah, want to be something. Oh God, there it is, yeah. That's why we just have to keep holding the Spirit's hands. It's like, no, you don't want anything from this world. Really don't want to be anything. There's nothing here for you. Come and be everything with me. That's all there is. So it's like, okay, that sounds much better. So that's what I found actually very, very humbling. Because I was actually talking to a friend, and it's like funny, we have these seeming cultural, what would I call them? Identities. And so, for instance, it's like I was seemingly born in England. And so I've never had this problem with getting or deserving would be more. It's like I'm happy to go to the front of the queue, you know. I wouldn't back down in taking what is mine. So it's a very getting mechanism, and this superiority. I think that's what it's felt to me. There's this superiority. And through new reflections, you know, particularly if we want to look at all these things in this culture, in this world dynamic, it seems white males are dominant, and and coming from England, a superpower, seemingly, and showing dominance to other countries and showing power, that's the reflection of my mind. So, okay, I'm a dominant, powerful male who can get what he wants. And then maybe, for instance, you might come from another country and it might be very, very different. But for me, when I very first heard the word humble, I thought, what the hell is that? That was never part of my program, my conditioning that I set for myself. That was like completely and utterly dead the opposite to what this concept is supposed to be. Dominant, powerful. I have what I want, and I will get it if I really want it. And it's interesting, you know, the same as that David was sharing the other week about the time that you were born in, and things like that are like seemingly born in, are the perfect time for your awakening, really. It's all just perfect. And it was like, so I was born in 1979. I think that was actually the year that Margaret Thatcher got in. And then that was all about individuality. And it was all about just tread over the next person and get everything that you can, get the job, don't worry about anybody else, and just get. Become materialistic, become happy in that way. And so it's like all this get. It's like once I got the Course in Miracles and started seeing, okay, it's a path of giving, and it was just like completely and utterly alien to my mind. It's like, what the hell's that? Humbleness, what the hell's that? What does that even mean? And you look at the sort of reflections, no wonder the Course in Miracles came to me, because it's like, yeah, that's the opposite of what this conditioning that you set for yourself is. And now I've got to clean that mirror for you to help you be humble. And so no wonder he brought me to Mexico. He's like, yeah, it's going to be actually good for you to get out of London, a capital of getting, capital of power. Maybe come to a place where you can get some more humble reflections. And so that's the beautiful thing of being led, and seeing this difference in this humbleness, and having those reflections coming back to me that are so supportive for my mind. Just to say that, no, I don't know. I can't even believe in these concepts any longer, that seemingly feel so ingrained. Because maybe you can look at some of them for yourself. You can look at the seeming background of what you actually believe about the concept of yourself that needs to be let go of. And so I see that with the Course, you know. It's like you get a certain amount of, oh, I know a bit about the Course. I know. I can use it now for my own gain. And it's like, no, it's actually to be humble. And then the teaching for today is, well, when you know everything, you're at the beginning. So at the moment, you don't know anything. So the best thing to do is to be humble, to be truly humble. And that I don't know. You don't know anything. You haven't even learned anything about the Course, because there's actually nothing to learn. He's like, yeah, you're not getting anywhere at all. That's the whole point. So I think that definitely that's my big lesson. It's like every day has to be a fresh start. Has to be a fresh start in my mind to be completely and utterly clueless. And to stop this knowing. And I think that's what going back to basics is. It's about keep resetting. And in actual fact, he does that in the rules for decision section, doesn't he? He says to us that you make decisions, and sometimes those decisions aren't making you happy, and then you wonder why. But you must say to yourself, I forgot what to decide. I forgot the question, and so therefore I cannot decide. To actually reset the mind so that you don't know. And then another part of it is, I don't like the way I feel, so I can choose again for a new experience to keep you being humble. And that never ends. It's always coming back to humbleness. That's the back to basics. So it's the same, it's in the, what's it called? Self-concept versus self. I do not know the thing I am. I actually don't know. And I think that's what we come to. We come to these understandings, and then we go along with that understanding, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, actually I don't know. And you get to your knees, and that's been working for you for a bit, and then all of a sudden what you've been doing doesn't work. And then you're like, oh no, what's going wrong now? And it's like, again, it's like a new wave of I don't know. And it's another wave of humbling. And I'm seeing that for myself. It's like I actually see myself metaphorically going on my knees and just saying, God, please, you've got to help me. You've got to help me with this, because I don't know. So I think that's what the back to basics is. That I don't know how to give. I don't know who I am. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know how to look on this situation. I don't know my own best interests. And I want to be shown. I want to be shown the new perspective. And help me to see where I think that I know, so I can see that I don't know. Yeah, help me to see that I'm not this body. Help me to see that I am mind. Let's expect miracles. Let the miracle lead the way. Mm. Mm. so let's all join in the miracle. Let's expect miracles, always. Thank you so much. This time is so precious. I feel so blessed. Enjoy the peace. Enjoy the love. And enjoy the miracles. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. Bye for now.